I'm Leon Todd for G66. Welcome to another Tuesday Tone Tip. On today's video, I want to show you how you can use 4 blocks and 1 expression pedal on your Fractal device to recreate those beautiful ambient pads that we heard at the start of the video. To get started, I'm just using one of my favorite clean amps, the Texas Star Clean. This one's pretty easy to dial in. I just turn the bass down a little bit, the mid-range and the treble up, and pair it with an appropriate cab. In this case, I have chosen a Dynacab pairing. I really like this with the 4x12 Rumble EV12Ls. I've got a ribbon and dynamic blend on here. Let's have a listen to just the dry, clean sound with this Tyler JTG on the neck pickup. So there's our first 2 blocks, just an amp and a cab, and we're simply just going to use another 2 blocks in here, the first of which is very straightforward. We're going to place a volume block before the amp over here so that we can perform some volume swells, and all you have to do, leave it at the stock settings and just attach your expression pedal to the volume parameter in here. So I'm going to right click this and I'm going to set the source on my unit to external 1. That's what I've got set up with my Fractal EV1. You could use FC1 pedal 1 if you're using an FC controller in the first pedal slot. If you were using a different type of controller in here, just set it to the relevant controller, whether it's an external controller or something on your FC. So I'm going to go for external 1 over here. And before I do anything, I'm just going to check that when I move the expression pedal up and down, look at that, it is moving the volume on there. So this is going to let me do volume swells with the pedal, a really straightforward fundamental setup on here. All well and good, you say, Leon, but that sounds nothing like the intro. This is where the most important block comes in. We're going to add a multi-tap delay block at the end of this. So let's right-click this empty shunt over here. We'll go to the multi-tap delay, and I'm going to navigate over to the quad parallel delay type. I'm going to set the mix on here to 50%. Let's just hear this at the stock settings. If I do some swells and play some chords with this, it already sounds really beautiful. That's absolutely gorgeous on its own, but what I want to do is I want to have those glorious delays circulating around when I've got a full guitar signal going in there and I've got my expression pedal pushed forward into the toe down position. But I'd love it that if I pull the expression pedal back so there's no guitar signal reaching the amp and in turn the cabinet and multi-tap delay, that those delays could keep feeding back and fill up the space. And we can do exactly that. And full credit to the amazing Dan Worrell for this trick. I got this from one of his videos a couple of years ago. Let's do this. Let's turn the feedback on all of the delays over here to 100%. This is the only modification we need to make to that aside from the mix. You can set the mix to taste. I like it at 50% because more is more good. And we'll go to the master section now and let's right click this. We're going to attach the feedback parameter to the same expression pedal on here. So for me, this was external controller number 1. However, we're going to play around with the parameter range. So we said before that we want full feedback when we're in the heel down position on the expression pedal. So let's set the minimum to 100%. Now the maximum, when I've got my toe down on here, I don't want the delays circulating around in an infinite feedback loop. I would like them to back off a little bit. Let's start around 50% in the toe down position. Again, I'll just check that my expression pedal is mapped on there. Check this out now. I'm going to start in the heel down position. I'm going to play a chord and swell it up. I'll noodle around a little bit, and then when I back it off, you'll hear that glorious quad parallel delay fill up that space and create a really lovely pad style sound. That already sounds epic, but we can further refine it with a few tweaks to the multi-tap delay. The first of which is going to be using some diffusion. You can think of diffusion as smearing out those delay repeats, essentially taking each of those delay taps and attaching like a little reverb to them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the more section in here. Let's just crank the diffusion mix up to 100% on there, and I'll try a similar idea. Now we're going to hear those delays completely smeared out around the spectrum. We won't hear the discrete echoes on here. It will be a lot more reverb and pad-like. That completes the basic recipe, and on its own, it is so tasty, taking the volume pedal for the swells and pairing it up with the lush multi-tap delay where we've got control over the feedback, having it so that when I go to the heel down position and my guitar signal cuts out, the feedback goes to 100%. It gives me infinite feedback and a freeze style effect. We can add some seasonings to that, like time modulation. I like turning up the LFO1 depth a little bit. Let's take the rate up around 1 Hertz. I really like this astable waveform as well. It's like a cross between a triangle and a sine on there. Let's also just add a little bit more filtering in here. So I'm going to set the high cut on here a little bit lower. Let's say 8K. And we'll use a nice high cut slope on here. You could even add a little bit of extra resonance on there if you wanted to. I'm going to bring the low cut up as well, just so it doesn't get too boomy in the low end. We'll go for 12 dB over there. You could add things like chorus, comb filtering, or ring modulation on there as well. In fact, you could even set up some auto swells or some ducking effects on there if you wanted to. Let's have a listen to that addition of time modulation and filtering. And you know what? I'm even going to turn the level up by 3 dB over here just to give it a bit of a boost. Let's check this one out. You can try similar concepts with other multi-tap delay types. For example, the Ambient quad tape. I'll give you that one, and then I'll give you one more example on channel D, which is using the Aurora Delay. I think it works great with both of these types as well. Same idea. We've still got the volume pedal, and we've got the master feedback at 50% when you're in the toe down position and at 100% when you are in the heel down position. Don't forget that when you go through with your individual feedbacks in here, that you set them to 100% as well. And that's something I haven't done over here. So let's have a listen to this one. This even works well with a bunch of distortion on there as well. I'm using the FAS Stealth Blue amp model at the moment. Check this out. Hopefully this provides you some of your own ideas to use an expression pedal in conjunction with things like volume swells and time-based effects at the same time. I'll put a link to the preset in the video description. It's available for free on Exchange. You can also grab my free cab art if you want to try it. Let me know if you've got any other tricks like this that you'd like to see recreated on upcoming Tuesday Tone Tips. Until next time, have a good one, and I'll see you then.